afternoon, everyone. My name is Ray. I lead the cyber transformation team as part of the larger advisory that supports the consulting capability at Ensign. So for those of you who are hearing Ensign for the first time, we are essentially Asia's largest pure-play cybersecurity service provider, with over 900 cybersecurity professionals. So in addition to the consulting capabilities that we provide, we do provide system integration, managed security services, incidents and crisis response advisory, and all of this is actually supported by our research and development, which embodies the threat-informed approach. A very common question that I receive from many executives that work with me is basically, Ray, how do I actually convince my CEO to release the budget for us? Where do I begin? What kind of cybersecurity controls, or initiatives should I actually implement, So, and therefore there are such questions, then we led to us during our cybersecurity maturity assessments with them that we thought we do need to, stitch the things together. There are many good resources out there, contributed by the committee of cybersecurity practitioners. You have your reputable frameworks, you have your standards mappings, etc. So why not, let's put together a structure or a mental model to deliver a threat-informed approach to those executives to answer their questions. So today, what I'm going to do is trying to articulate to you Ensign's approach of applying the threat-informed approach to actually derive a fit-for-purpose cybersecurity maturity settings for organizations, be it for yourself or be it for your clients. So Ensign has developed our own threat-informed defense framework. And what it really does is, as I articulated earlier on, we use all those reputable frameworks, we marry them together, ranging from the MITRE ATT&CK framework that tells us the adversarial techniques to the controls, where we look at the NIST CSF version 2.0, telling us what are the outcomes, that you need to achieve for cybersecurity, and also the ASP853 that gives you the controls. In addition, we have the MITRE detections and mitigations, if necessary, the defend and engage frameworks as well to establish the control baseline that an organization should implement, And we also use the FAIR framework to help us quantify the risk, of applying this control, what can you offset, etc., for the executives to be able to appreciate. And this will then collectively allow us then to determine what is the target state, Be it the current state, which is the assessed state here. You have your target state and also the aspirational target state, for executives that want to push the boundaries, beyond the baseline. Yep. So let me dive into the TIDF, This is basically the threat-informed defense framework, for us here. So first we start with a threat profiling, of our client, So we do a research and we aim to understand the nature of the business services that's actually performed by our client, We also find out where the countries they operate in. Is it in Asia, or is it even to the specific countries, Singapore, US, and so on and so forth, as well as establish the time currency, which is basically the scope, the activities of the threat actors that we'll be interested in for our client. So this actually collectively led us to the next stage, which is basically to establish a list of relevant threat actors for our clients. And then we apply Ensign's threat classification matrix to actually classify these relevant threat actors into insubstantial, potential, impending, and material threat actors based on the level of threats they present to our clients' interests, Next, after highlighting or actually drilling down from the relevant threat actor groups, into threat actor groups that's most important to our client, we then look at the techniques that they have, we consolidate them, we look at the associated mitigations, detections, controls to actually form that control baseline that I talked about earlier on, Certainly, there's going to be some level of assessment, by an individual, using his professional judgment to then translate this control baseline, into assessment criteria, Whether is it to determine the current target as well as the aspired target state using the NIST CSF 2.0 and its implementation tiers. Okay. Now, next, let me walk you through, dive into the DIDF using a example, right? So this is the fictitious company, right? Global Anchor Shipping, right? It's basically a maritime shipping company that does, transportation, manages a fleet that operates on trade routes in major ports in Australia and New Zealand, right? And they actually provide this kind of supply chain management services, which allows them to categorize this as operating in the shipping and logistics sector. So naturally, we can extract the necessary information, right? Be it through a combination of interviews, open source research with our clients, etc., to come up with the necessary parameters to fit into our threat modeling methodology, right? In this case, right, we're able to identify, 4 relevant threat groups. And we actually use our resources such as the Monitor Attack Framework, right? There are other open group resources from the different certs across the world. We use them too as well. And last but not least, you have your Google as well, right? In this case, we're able to establish there's 4 relevant threat groups, which is Vote Typhoon, Lazarus Group, Mummy Spider, and Tropical Cypress. All right, and this is the parameters that we use to actually classify the threat actors into the different levels of threat, right? Capability, the hostile intent to our organization, and opportunity, right? Looking at historical data, right? And also a mix of what we have in Ensign based on a proprietary threat intelligence as well, right? So in this case, we actually classify them into Mummy Spider, Tropical Scorpius for potential, Lazarus Group for impending, and Vote Typhoon as material. Right. And this is the point where you have to engage with the executives to ask them, what is the business intent? What do you know about the business? Where do you think business will go in the future? How technology will evolve as a result? And that's where we identify what's the most important, right? Threat actor groups to the organization itself, right? In this case, Vote Typhoon, Lazarus Group, because those are the ones that are more immediate. Threat is more real to the client, right? And this will be the one that will map their adversarial techniques into the Monitor Attack Techniques heat map. Yep. So I think this heat map is not new. You'll probably be familiar with it. It's something you can extract from the Monitor Attack Navigator. So it's actually a good tool that you can actually use for this. So what we do then is, of course, we apply a certain level of weightage, as you can see, right? The rate highlights that this thing has been seen more across the different threat actor groups, right? That has been considered most important, all the way down to the less sinned. Right? So there's significance to this heat map, which I'll articulate later. It becomes very important when you're articulating your recommendations, right, to your client. All right. So each of these techniques, of course, will have their own mitigations. Right? In this case, you look at SPM 53. Right? It provides a very good mapping of what is the necessary security controls. Right? And next, we then leverage on the mapping from AR53 to CSF 2.0. Right? So if necessary, right, we supplement with the detections, mitigations, and the defend and engage frameworks, additional controls. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is basically there's a relation, there's correlation from a threat to the control to the outcomes. And that's where executives can understand, right? And there's a risk here, right? What are we trying to do here? And that's the language that they're more conversant with using NIST CSF 2.0. Okay. Subsequently, we present this, our assessment outcomes, right, into the 6 functions of the NIST CSF, right? As you can see, that there are 3 different states we can put in place, right? And this table below actually provides executive a view, right? Basically, they're telling them, this is my current areas of improvement, some of the areas that I'm weak at, where do I need to go to, right, in order to achieve the fit for purpose target state of security posture for my organization, right? And that's when subsequently on the right side, we actually work with those executives to actually develop a roadmap of prioritized initiatives, right, to address any areas of improvement, right, for the organization. And the criteria to do so, right, there are many, right, could be number 1, what is the effort, what is the head count, the necessary budget needed to execute this. You need to take the consideration the dependencies, right, which one makes more sense to be executed and completed first. And the last one will be maybe the impact, the potential impact that by implementing a certain set of controls, right, to achieve the target state, what can you mitigate? And that's where I was saying earlier on, there's actually a roadmap, a heat map that actually been developed as part of a threat profiling exercise. You can use the count of the initiatives as a weight, right, to actually inform the prioritization of the initiatives as well. Oh, it's been lagged. My God. All right. So with that, I've come to the end, right, of how we apply the TIDF itself to actually guide the cybersecurity maturity assessments for our clients, right? To actually tell them, this is what the initiatives are, what would be some of the return on security investment you can expect, right, from a threat to controls to outcomes correlation. Welcome you all to connect to me, right? The linking is here, right? Also my corporate email is here as well, right? And just note that, Ensign has our cyber threat landscape report that we issued for last year. Right, come Monday, we're publishing the one for 2024. Right, so please watch the space at our corporate website.